Yeah.
Segment here of the day goes to culture and connections. You'll see there the info card. Again, pause the video if you want a bit more context. So the last topic here is how conversations have changed across generations. So the opening question I have for you is, do you think it's harder or easier to have honest conversations today than it was before? And we're talking about family and friends. Is it easier today? Is it
Yeah.
harder today? Is it easier before? What's your thoughts?
Um, much harder today. Not for me, because I'm going to just talk what have in mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
that political correctness type stuff. I'm not doing none of that. But yeah, but back in the people have less thick skin, right? So you could just first of all, there's so many words and things that nowadays that you can't say, you can't, you know, what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Like I'm not doing none of that. So I'm sure it's like 10,000 times harder now because you have
Right.
to be thinking of like there's so many different social thing that this that you don't even this I don't know, man. It's weird.
And one Jordan Peterson once said that uh, you have to be willing to offend someone in order to engage in a discussion or something along to that effect. As far as generations go, I think there's always going to be some misunderstanding or miscommunication just because I think we're having two different conversations a lot of the times. I think younger generations, if you're a child to a parent, for example, you think you're having a conversation about the apple juice that fell off the counter and that it wasn't being cleaned up, and you don't think it's a big deal because you just cleaned it up after you were being asked. Whereas the conversation that's being had on the parent side is about discipline. It's about you know you did something wrong, have the integrity, pick it up, clean it up, right? Be responsible, accountable. These are values that will benefit you in the future. And those sort of that dissonance will always exist more or less. But as far as I reach an age, you reach an age, we're speaking in the right context. I definitely believe it's harder to have conversations now. Even I've seen it in friendships. I've seen it in activities. One on a social political standpoint, as you've brought up, but I also think on a technological standpoint as well. Without the in-person relationships, without the you guys having gone through something, winter storm again. You mentioned Canada, the weather, having not been outside, or you're not, you know, car broke down, bus broke down, and your friends are there. A lot of these things are not being assisted. How do I say? You're not experiencing a lot of these moments, especially these newer generations in this new time. Whereas before, you would have gone through that with people, and so you don't have these memories to really tie us, so that when we do engage in conversations, the trust is not so much built in. I know where you're coming from. When you're telling me something and I might not like it, I have to think to myself, what is this person's intentions? And with that comes, okay, they've always been there. They've always had my back. They've been with me in the tough times. They would only be saying this if they really cared. You can kind of go back to that, and I think that allows for conversations to flow in a certain way, to be received in a certain manner. And I think it's actually just it's harder to have those conversations because everyone's scared to say exactly what they think. And I think that's not how it should be. I think that's actually the wrong way to think about it. And I'll bring it to something that you said. And I say you said, but again, these are just memories in time. It's not something that you've just, maybe they are, you tell me. But the idea that with new information, you're allowed to change your mind. You're
Yeah.
not married to your thoughts, right? You're okay with new information. If I said I'm going to go to the store today, great. If I find out there's a power outage or a mass shooting or something like this, I'm not going anymore. I shouldn't be held to the standard of I shouldn't be held to the standard that I'm not going anymore. Right? With new information, I'm allowed to change my mind. And I think that sort of freedom, that sort of grace is what we need to do. I know, and last thing I'll say to that is when I went to the boarding school, I was part of the debate club. And one of the rules, this is where you'd go and you do the parliamentary debating. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Today the bill at hand is this. We as the opposition believe X, Y, and Z. Today we discuss, that sort of debate. But before any debate, you have about a 2 to 3 minute deliberation period where you discuss the terms and the context of the conversation. And one of the fundamental principles of debating is that you have to give grace. You have to take what it is that they're saying in good faith, that they're coming from a good place, and you take it charitably. And so that is what you look to discuss. But I think even that part of it, if you're not able to agree on the terms, the debate doesn't happen. You guys have to agree on certain definitions, the scope, and we're not even able to agree on the definitions and the scope of certain conversations, which of course is going to make it a lot harder. And then you add technology, you add the political climate, a whole bunch of things. So it's definitely harder. I feel like, and the last thing I'm going on a bit longer, but I definitely feel even with, you mentioned in the last podcast episode how the context has changed and how one of the challenges for the older generations is to not bring what they knew to be true and helpful in one period of time, not to transport that in today's time, believing that it's going to have the same impact. You were speaking about, I think one of the people that you had mentored there who had just got a new job and they added on a whole bunch of responsibility to him. And imagine if somebody told him just to focus on one thing. So I think there's many layers to it. I think it's definitely harder in today's time. I think there's things that we can do to get around it. Education is part of it, equipping tools, but we can definitely kind of get into that a bit later. So I'll leave it up to you. Do you believe honesty should ever be softened to protect relationships? Like, do you think that honesty is the best policy? So,
Honestly, can't do it.
Right.
With George Bush. No, I think everything has to be seen in a contextual way. So if a person is suicidal, for example, because their face is disfigured or something like that, and it's true, are you gonna say, yeah, whoa, this is ripped off, man, that's terrible? You know what I mean? Like that. So they would just go and kill themselves. So maybe you should not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times when you have to not be just delay certain things or soften it. Yeah, contextually.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem I just don't like doing stuff like that. But but you have to at times ready to just avoid say, okay, this is not the right time to say that, as opposed to lying. Right?
Have you ever had that with me? Did you ever feel like this is not the right time to say something to me, and you, in a later point in time, you'll get it in time?
Yeah, well, you answer that question.
No, you can be honest.
Yes,
you can be honest.
I don't need to be.
Just me and you here.
Yeah. Like even with your couple of your mentors, a couple of things, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I let that slide for a while, and then you say, okay, don't want to call, don't want to dox people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word you guys use?
No, I know dox.
Yeah. There are times. There's a lot of things I just let, but some things it's best people learn through like self-discovery. It's one of the best way to learn, when you discover certain things yourself. But usually there's a time component, right? And if the person isn't like you, taking too long to learn certain things, and I think you have to learn it now. You're gonna take forever, right? Like there's certain things sometimes it's not like it's not reversible, but how long it's gonna take right? And when you could just almost effortlessly solve this problem, and if that's where you're trying to go. Yeah, there was a couple of times. Can't remember anything off the top of my head right now.
Hmm.
Oh, this flu is crazy.
You've been pushing that. You've been pushing. I see.
Yeah,
One of the things with my dad, if he's ever feeling under the weather, it's never something that he'd ever bring up. He doesn't really like to share too much as far as sickness or anything like that. He'll just go through it. So if you seeing this and still getting through the podcast, that honestly, that's tremendous. We got the bright lights, we got a lot of stuff going on, and the effort to actually put it all together. So I actually, yeah, yeah. So
no,
I'll
but
let you.
you were talking. No, you called yesterday. You were saying, Dad, we have the podcast tomorrow. No,
Mhm.
Thursday,
Yeah.
and my girlfriend was laughing. Like, okay, yeah, what podcast? Because I'm
Yeah.
sick. Like I was going through crazy stuff. Because my thing is everything that you think you're going through, there's a 5 million people would like to switch with you in a moment. Like just imagine those people in like war torn areas like the Middle East in Gaza right now, and I'm talking about I'm sick. Come on, man. Those are
Hmm.
people. Those people have it really bad. This will go away in a couple of days, right?
Hmm.
Like, come on. Those, yeah. That's why I try not to share too much bad luck story with people. I just try to go through it, but can't complain with this. Yeah, I'm really, really down with this. Whatever this is, my
Hmm.
joints, my teeth, my head's hurting, eyes, everything. But I can tell you, there's 1 million people right now would be so happy to switch with me. You know what I mean? Like they're going through crazier stuff, so it's good. I just want to apologize to anybody who's listening or one fan.
Hmm. Yeah.
You,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're this is the worst we're gonna be. We're
Hmm.
gonna just this is the worst this is gonna be. We're just trying to learn as much as we can and try to get all these things correct with the right topic, and it's only gonna get better from here.
I
Yeah.
agree. So here's it. I accept one. I accept your apology. So the so that's the episode 3, Generation Gap, Bridging the Gap podcast, episode 3. I actually like this flow. Again, each episode we're adjusting, we're trying something new. Some of the adjustments we'll have discussions. What you'll actually see in the next installment, the next episode, is one where we're going to do somewhat of a channel update, speak to where we are, speak to some of the behind the scenes stuff that's going on, but not just behind the scenes, but what we plan to do in the future. Perhaps speak a bit more about the Patreon community involvement, how you guys can get involved with that. We'll kind of let you in on that. Not kind
Yes,
of,
and
we are going to let you in on those.
yep, and some of the stuff that we're working on, like or certain things we're working on in AI, certain projects that we're working on. I try to share as much knowledge for people to upscale their mental prowess with AI and agentic workflow and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll show you some of the stuff that we're working. That we might put that in the Patreon, but we'll be discussing and creating things for the community as we grow. So whatever you guys are doing, we'll be showing you how we can help you make progress as we're making progress ourselves in this podcast.
1,000%. All the
Yeah.
while, we are bridging these gaps, guys. So we have discussions, right? You are welcome at this table. You are part of this conversation. But even with that, we do have a mission, we do have a vision, and we are moving towards that exactly. So that's what we're doing. A lot of content to come, tutorials as well too, a whole bunch of things. So we'll kind of get into it in that next episode. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you want If there's anything that you found interesting, anything that you want us to speak to, that's really the conversation, that next episode where you want to provide that feedback, or you can leave those, comment below or comment wherever you are, which platform, and we'll definitely be able to see that and take that into consideration. So that's it, guys, for today. I think my dad needs to go take some Halls or Pepto Bismol or something like that. I don't know, but we'll leave him to it. I'll leave it there. My name is Roydell. That's Roydell. That side. Roydell and Roydell. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.